I got a question today that I got a lot of other times about why the patch, why a club if you're another one percenter and you distance yourself from that kind of lifestyle, but you still want to be part of the culture. And when we started the club back in 2014, I knew a guy that was working at a recovery home, and he was kind of frustrated about seeing a lot of people coming from 1% clubs, being a supporter or a hang around or even a prospect, and coming in, getting clean, leaving the place, and coming back a year or two later, full patch, but starting over, trying to get clean one more time. So for a lot of addicts, it's hard to let go of that culture because there's something we like about it. Something from our past, maybe, or whatever. You just like the camaraderie, or the hierarchy, or the writing, or even the patch that you can actually see when you're looking at your friends that we are together. You can actually see it physically with the patches. There can be a lot of reasons why you don't want to leave an environment like that, but when it kind of try to kill you because of addiction or because of criminal behavior, violence, whatever, then it's not such a good idea, and it can be hard to leave that kind of lifestyle behind. So what we try to do with Cosa Nation and other recovery clubs have done before us and after us is to try and make an environment where you can have some of the good things and still have the brotherhood, just with a different attitude and with people that understand you and wants to grow in life the same way that you want to. And in our club, there's no drugs, no alcohol, and no bad attitude. And for former addicts, that's the best way of going about it, because alcohol is banned. Even if you haven't had problems with alcohol, we don't drink. And we have most of our members are former addicts, former gang members, and soldiers with PTSD. So that's the brotherhood. And when you're sitting there missing something, it's rarely the alcohol or the drugs or the bad attitude, but here you can get all the good things without the bad. And we actually only had 2 relapses in 10 years, and that for me in our club means that it works. For people that go into rehab, it doesn't work for everyone. They fall back. They try to get clean many times. Some people make it, some don't. Some die of this kind of lifestyle because of drugs or violence or whatever. Maybe sitting in jail for the rest of their lives if they continue down this path. So they try to get clean and they try to find another way of life. That's the same way I did. I missed the riding. I missed the camaraderie. I didn't miss the hierarchy with the bad attitudes and the egos and putting other people down so you could boost your own ego. I didn't like that very much. But I like the riding. I like the good part of the camaraderie, and I like the club also. I like to wear the vest. I like to see physically that my brothers and I are together. We have the same patch. We love each other. We'll do whatever it takes for each other. And having our meetings in our club, sitting together, talking about the hard stuff in life, how to keep clean, how to try and be a regular dude in society with all this baggage we have from a bad childhood, or some of us have been in jail or in wars or whatever. It can be mental conditions, you name it. And being with brothers that understand this, and you can, like in AA, we can sit and we can talk about it. We can talk about how we feel, what happened, how we feel about it, how we are struggling, and things that goes well, and that gives the same kind of fellowship as soldiers, or in some kind of other organization. When you have, I always used to say, if you fight together or hate together, that will be the best camaraderie you can ever have, because you get really close when you do those things. And soldiers have that when they go abroad and fight in wars. And I had it when I was in the Nazi Party many years ago, because I hated myself. I couldn't live with that, so it was easier hating other people, people I didn't understand, people I was afraid about, people that was different than me. Then I didn't have to take any accountability for my actions. So that's what I did, and that made a really strong bond for me, a really strong fellowship with hate. And it was very hard to let go of that. And it took me many years to break free, at last to break free of it. Of course, here in Corsa, it's not the same, but it's pretty close. It's as close as it can be with good energy, because we all experience bad things in our life. We all know how it feels, and we help each other get a better life, stay clean, and try to be a positive part of society. So that's why we don't have the 1% patch. We have nothing against the 1% patch. That's not just another way of lifestyle, but that lifestyle almost killed us. So that's why we don't want to be a part of it anymore. But that doesn't mean we don't want to ride bikes, and that doesn't mean that we don't want to have that camaraderie and that same feeling around being in a club that we were before. And because we have a lot of former bikers and gang members, being in this club and having a patch, having the camaraderie, riding together, they don't fall back into their old ways, and they don't miss their old clubs, because they knew how hard it was for them to get rid of the addiction or whatever that was affecting their life. And some of them might even not have anything against the fellowship that they were in or the club, but being an addict, you cannot be around people that drink and take drugs all the time, because if they can take a couple of beers and that's good enough for them, that's fine. But as an addict, one is never enough. So you don't have that stop button to say, now I'm not gonna, I can drink one or two and that's fine. You just go on, because you have to close down those feelings you have inside, and you do it with alcohol. You drink when you're sad, you drink when you're angry, you drink when you feel lonely, or when you're horny, or when you're happy. It doesn't matter. Any feelings, it's an excuse to drink or take drugs or whatever. And it's not a way to live. So that's why that our club has been so successful, and other clubs, because we are not the only clean and sober club out there, or organization or fellowship or whatever you want to call it. So it works for a lot of people, and there are different kind of clubs, there are different associations, and they all do it in different ways. I'm not saying that we are better than the other ones. We've been more successful in Europe, and we get new members every day. So I know that the way we do it work for a lot of people, but the smaller clubs, they have their place as well. They do things different than we do, and people are different. They need different things to stay clean. So I think it's good that there are so many different clean and sober clubs and fellowships, because then there's something for everyone. And I think it's important for all of us, because we are flock animals. We need to be in some kind of group, even if it's in the country club, or recognition at work, or you go hunting with the boys, or surfing, or whatever you prefer. You have a group, and you are with other people. You associate with each other, talk together, have friends, and we need that too. And a lot of us, which has left that environment with drugs and alcohol and whatnot, we need it too. And that's a way that we can stay sober, is by being with other people that also wants to stay clean and sober. It doesn't work that we go at a party and with one percenters, or another just at a bar where people sit drinking and maybe taking drugs, because of our past. It's too easy for us to just go back into that old rhythm that we know so well. Oh, I can take one, or whatever. It doesn't work, and it killed a lot of my friends that thought that they could be in the environment and stay clean. It doesn't work, and I couldn't stay in my environment, or in a club or anywhere where there are drugs and alcohol, because it will kill me. I have to be in a place where that is not allowed, to kind of hold myself back. I don't have any what do you say? I don't feel like I want to drink anymore. I've been sober for over 13 years now, but I don't know what happens tomorrow. I can't sit back and say I can do anything now because I've been sober so many years. I've seen people die of alcohol and drugs that had been sober for 20, 30 years, and they thought they had it all figured out, and suddenly one day they're lying in a hotel room with a needle in their arm, or driving over a cliff drunk. You never know when you have an addicted personality. But just to finish the thing with the why with the fellowship and why with the patches. Yeah, I know it could look like a 1% club, but it's not. We have the same hierarchy. Our bylaws could be just as well used as if it were for a 1% club or association. But that's what keeps us on the right path, because we also have rules and laws that give us this camaraderie and make sure that our members do not have big egos, and they treat the prospect proper, they treat each other, their wives, their family. And in our fellowship, the club never comes first. Your recovery, that's number one. Then your job, because if you don't have your job, you can't take care of your family. And then your family, because if you don't take care of your family, you cannot take care of your job or your recovery. And then the club in the end, because if you don't take care of your recovery, if you don't take care of your job, if you don't take care of your family, you cannot be a good brother. So that's important. And it works. It works. Now we have over 100 members in Europe, and still counting. We are getting more members, more countries. So even though that there are some people out there that don't understand why we are doing this, it's hard to explain. I try to do it anyway. It's hard to explain if you haven't had a life like ours, with struggles with addiction and having friends dying, whatever, being at war, struggling with PTSD, addiction, or some kind of diagnosis. It's but I hope that I answered this question so most people understand that this is why, because it keeps us clean and sober, and it reminds me of something, reminds us of something we liked in our former life, and therefore we are less likely to relapse, we are less likely to go back to our old ways, and instead of being criminal, we take care of our families and our kids and our brothers. Not saying that other clubs, 1%ers or not, are criminals, but many of our members had criminal behaviors in their former life, doing their addictions or falling on hard times. So this is the way we try to become better people and try to get the best thing of both worlds by still being alive and taking care of ourselves and our families, trying to be better people for the people around us. I hope that answered the question, and remember, don't have a good day, have a great one. See you next time. Peace.